deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Getting you set for today's game. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Gameday. Powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Broncos and Chargers, Denver Gameday, off and rolling. Glad you are with us on this Sunday morning. Thank you for spending some time with us, hanging out here on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mike Rice, Sean Boyd, as we get ready for the regular season finale. It is crazy to think that the journey of the regular season is coming to a close today. Obviously, so much to look forward to for the Broncos. We are glad for that, grateful for that. And yet, at the same time, 17 games will be in the books, about 8 hours from now, maybe 7 hours from now. And it's been quite the ride for the Broncos. Welcome in, Sean. Good to see you, my friend.
Howdy, partner.
Yeah, how was New Year's? How was Christmas? I haven't seen you since, Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think I did too much holidaying. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh, it's a thing.
Like I holidayed too hard. I Homer Simpson duffed too much. And
wow.
I'm just saying, I ate too much of everything. I indulged in apple cider, cranberry apple cider.
Wow.
Eggnog, which I've never really drank before. And that was a new experience for me. So eggnog is something that I'm going to incorporate in my holiday spread going forward.
Well, you can have mine. Not an eggnog guy.
I don't know why, man. It's actually I didn't think it's like avocado. You look at avocado and you're like, that's not good, and I don't want to try that. I don't put that on my don't put that on my burrito, baby, right? But when you actually eat some avocado, it's actually not bad. And I think eggnog fits along in that line.
Okay, it's one of those things where it's an acquired taste. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, no, black jelly beans and black licorice is an acquired taste.
Oh, my goodness. But the family had a good time,
yeah,
Christmas, New Year's, and now we're rolling into 2026.
I mean, the outlook that I'm looking at right now going into 2026 is that, I feel like anything is possible for us all at this point. And when we start tying it into the sports world, like now you're looking at, the possibilities of maybe 3 to 4 more Denver game days with us, on the air talking about the Broncos and the playoffs. Do you think we'll be together if they make it to the Super Bowl, Mike?
What do you mean?
Like you think we'll do Denver game day?
Oh, well, hey,
Sunday?
I mean, I take nothing for granted, but, I mean, you might as well keep a good thing going, right?
You got to bring
with
out
all the shows.
Now, let me ask you this, right? Because we talked about this a few weeks ago with your son and his superstition about coming, right?
Yeah.
To keep the streak alive. So going forward, now that the streak resets, what do you think the superstition will be to keep the streak?
Well,
keep the winning streak going?
Yeah, and for those who don't know, so early on in the season, my younger son, Will, said, can I come to the station and watch the game with you and then hang out while you do the postgame show? I said, well, of course, bud. Absolutely. And so we ended up getting a bite to eat. I mean, it was Mickey D's on our way to the station, and the Broncos won. And his thing was, I want to come every other week, every other game. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. I mean, whatever you want to do. You can come every game. Don't have to come at all. And this thing, as the streak started after the loss to the Chargers, and the Broncos kept winning every other week. Willer would come to the station. We'd go to Mickey D's on the way in, and it became the thing. Well, then the Jacksonville game comes. It wasn't his week to come here. So he's coming today. I guarantee you that. He said, it's my week. I'm coming in with you later, and we're going to get lunch beforehand. I said, I can't argue with that.
See, folks, I think you guys got to put it in the comment section today. Hit the text line. Let us know what kind of superstitions you have as you're getting ready for game day. Like, do you go to a specific bar?
I like it.
Sit in a specific chair? Do you park in a specific parking spot at work if you're working on Sundays? Like, what kind of superstitious things are you into? Me, myself, Mike, I like to think that I'm a pretty sly, foxy guy when it comes to dressing. And if I don't
styling, is that what you're saying?
Oh my gosh! And if I have a bad day bowling in a certain outfit, I don't wear that outfit again.
And so
I don't park in the same parking spot that I was in that day that I bowled bad. Anything. If something went bad, if the wagers didn't go right that day, then guess what? Everything that I did, I don't do that again.
Change it up.
Yeah, I change it all up.
And then if it works, you keep it rolling until it doesn't work.
Yeah, like I had a really weird one about like taking all my chains off when I go to sleep at nighttime. The next day, I actually didn't take one night I didn't take all my chains off, and I left them all on. And then I woke up the next day, and I had like one of the best days ever. And so I was like, I'm going to do this all the time now.
Okay.
And I got a little uncomfortable. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. If you have that special recliner or special spot on the couch,
maybe a hoodie, that wrinkled hoodie, that orange crush hoodie, which I heard they're going to be in the throwbacks today as well.
Yeah. I mean, and that sort of leads us into the discussion of the game and the matchup. And really the season as well, because it has been a special season. On the one hand, Sean, it's a little bit strange because there is so much to appreciate with what the Broncos have done, have accomplished, the strides they've taken, the progress they've made from where they were just a couple of years ago when Sean Payton took over and this organization was a laughingstock on the field, had an embarrassment for a head coach, and just from the fan base's perspective, so much frustration about how far the Broncos had fallen. And
how many losing seasons did the Broncos have in that 10 years though, sir?
I'd have to go back and look, but I mean, for a long time it was, more Super Bowl appearances than losing seasons over like 4 decades.
No, I'm saying post Peyton Manning.
Right.
Post Peyton Manning, right? Did the Broncos ever like have a season like the Raiders are in right now, like a 2-15 rollout?
Yeah, I'll look. I'll try and well, I know way back in the day when they first started, they were bad, but yeah, they were 2-11-1 in 1964. That was still the old AFL days.
Yeah, but I'm talking after
63 and 64. Oh yeah, so you're talking since 2015?
Over this last decade.
No,
because the Broncos have been used to winning, and I think that's the sentiment around Denver, or better yet Colorado for that matter, is that even like on an 8-9 season, that's not good enough, but it's not all that bad either, though. And I feel like the Broncos have experienced a lot more success in that 10-year gap than the Raiders have.
Right. Relatively speaking, it was difficult for Broncos country because of how successful the organization had traditionally been. But they were at 5 wins in 2017. That was still when it was a 16-game schedule. They were at 5 wins in 2020. And they were at 5 wins in 2022. That was the second year of the 17-game schedule. So that's been the low point. Really, you have to go all the way back until 1982, which I believe was the strike year when they were 2-7.
So the cup is half full.
Well, you could look at it that way, but you and I can also, sip on a cold one and say it was some bad football between, after Super Bowl 50 and up until the last year or so. Even Sean's first year when Russ was here quarterbacking the Broncos, they were 8-9. They faltered down the stretch. It was difficult to watch. I think we can be honest. At least it was in my opinion in that respect. So there's been so much improvement. 10-7 last year, getting to the playoffs, but then falling hard at Buffalo 31-7. Starting this year, I think the general, if I can generalize a sentiment, it was, hey, I hope that we expect the Broncos. I think the fan base expected the Broncos to build off that and to take some steps forward, but this has exceeded, I think, the expectations of most, if not everybody. I mean, to be in the conversation for the number 1 seed is not something I expected this year, and lo and behold, the Broncos can finish 14-3. So on the one hand, there's just so much good, Sean, and yet as we were closing out with Cello and Kyle, this is an opportunity this year. This is an opportunity that the Broncos cannot let slip. Does that mean it's Super Bowl or bust? I've never really subscribed to that, but it's an opportunity in a year when they have, in my mind, taken more steps than I thought they would. It's truly an opportunity to make something special of this season in the playoffs. And there's no reason that they can't be the team out of the AFC that advances to the Super Bowl. I don't know how you predict it, because I mean the good vibe factor, the lucky break factor, the good fortune factor all gets magnified in the playoffs. One little slip can cost you a game in a way that it doesn't in the regular season. But every team has its shortcomings in the playoff field. And if the Broncos are able to capture and clinch home field through the AFC playoffs, it's 2 home wins away from getting to Santa Clara in Super Bowl 60. This is an opportunity right before them. You'd like to see them take advantage of it, right? I mean, you'd like to see them take care of business. And there's no reason they can't.
Well, I mean, this is a tricky game here, right? Obviously, you have to push the pace with the Patriots. They're taking on a Miami Dolphins team who's not in the same situation as the Chargers. They're not playing for virtually anything, but this is a glorified scrimmage today that the Broncos are embarking upon. Obviously, the Chargers are still playing some of their guys, and so my question to you, Mike, I have a two-part question for you and the rest of Broncos country out there today, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first part of this question is this. Do you feel that the Broncos, through all their success, have peaked too early in this season?
I do not. In fact, I think there's still plenty of upside. Honestly, Sean, I think they're going to need to take steps towards that ceiling as they get into the playoffs, whether it be on the road. Certainly if it's on the road, it becomes magnified.
Yes.
But even if they're at home, we've seen them play down to the level of their competition. We've seen the offense stall out. We've seen the defense be a little bit less than what they were early in the season here since the bye week. All of those things can be and need to be tightened up, and I would expect them to start that process today. I would expect a good effort today. But no, I do not think they have peaked. I don't think they've come close to peaking offensively.
Well, so here goes the other part of that question. Let's say the Broncos win out, the Patriots somehow. So in the 1-2 race,
yes,
is it about who loses today?
If the Broncos win, they clinch.
Okay.
If the Broncos lose and the Patriots lose, there's still a scenario where Jacksonville can sneak in.
But how do the Pats end up number 1?
Well, they'll be number 1 if the Broncos lose and they beat the Dolphins.
Okay.
So if they're going to have to finish a game clear of Denver, because in a head-to-head tiebreak, Denver owns that tiebreak with New England by virtue of record versus common opponents.
Oh, okay. So it's not from head-to-head matchup. Okay.
No.
So then what I'm looking at here is I'm wondering if the Broncos happen to clinch the number 1 seed and they have a week off to get ready for the divisional round, Will that hurt them? That rest, right? That bye week going into the playoffs. Will that be something that could possibly be a hindrance to the Broncos?
I mean, let me get your thoughts. You asked the question, are you of the mind that you wouldn't want the bye week?
See, I look at the college football playoffs in college football, and it got me thinking a little bit. A lot of the underdogs, which were the teams that played the week prior, won their games in the divisional round of the CFP. So I'm wondering, maybe is it something that could be a blessing and a curse for the Broncos? Because you get the extra week to get guys healthy, but then you get a little rusty at the same time. If that's a thing. Maybe Philip Lindsay or somebody could maybe correct me on that.
Well, I mean, we all have our thoughts and we all get our opinions on it. I think it's a two-pronged thing for me. Number one, I'm not going to fear that the Broncos are going to get rusty after being at this thing since training camp started, back in late July. I think that an off week would be good. It'd be really good when you look at somebody like Luke Wattenberg getting a week to where the team doesn't have to play without him. Same with Dre Greenlaw. So they can use that time to hopefully be healthy then for the divisional round. But the second part is, because the bye comes with the 2 home games, you absolutely have to be able to manage that. And this goes back to Sean Payton. I think he's already been thinking about managing that, assuming they get it. And that's why he's putting such an emphasis on it, because he knows how important it is. And so, no, I don't think there is any downside whatsoever to the Broncos being the number 1 seed, getting a week off, and then playing the divisional round, hopefully the AFC Championship game on their home field for the right to advance to Super Bowl 60. I
mean, San Francisco had it all in their hands last
night.
They
did.
They had it all in their hands last night. And so, Denver has this opportunity in front of them. Someone on the text line saying that we shouldn't sleep on Trey Lance. I'm kind of getting that same feeling, because the Chargers are not sitting everyone, and we're going to get all into that as the show progresses, right? But, this is a tricky game. I feel like there's a big expectation on the Broncos here, especially with the spread being what it is. So I want to dive into the mental capacity and what it looks like going into today's game for the Broncos and Coach Payton and Coach Joseph. What are they expecting from their guys? How do they want them to look in this dress rehearsal? Because, I call it a glorified scrimmage, but then again, the Chargers are not coming in here thinking that this is a glorified scrimmage. They get paid too.
They absolutely do. And you're right. Brian on the RamosLaw.com text line was talking about the Chargers and Trey Lance being focused, and you can't take anything for granted. I completely agree with that. Jackie up in the state of Washington weighs in on the RamosLaw.com text line saying, guys, Harbaugh wants to win this game. I wouldn't take any bit of it lightly. Lance will run. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous about this team. That has been part of the identity, giving us all heart attacks, keeping things close, maybe closer than they, air quotes, should be. And yet, I believe the Chargers want this game. I believe the Chargers are going to play their fannies off to win with the guys they've chosen to play. If I were Jim Harbaugh, there is no way I would play Justin Herbert in this game after the loss to the Texans, given the fact that the Chargers cannot win the division. They cannot be, a top 4 seed, a top 3 seed because of that loss to Houston last week that helped clinch the AFC West for the Broncos. So I think Harbaugh's made the right decision. I think it's broken right for the Broncos because of that. But make no mistake, I'm not expecting the Chargers to come in here and just lay down. I'm expecting the Chargers to come in here and play hard. I think they'll be outmanned, but that also doesn't guarantee a Broncos win. So from a mentality standpoint, to get back to what you were talking about, Sean, this is, if I'm a Broncos player, I'm treating this like a playoff game. We have to win this game. Not from the standpoint that a playoff berth is on the line, but at the same time, they're getting the number 1 seed is huge for the Broncos. From that standpoint, they got to go out and take care of business.
Well, I mean, the Chargers, they've already got their destiny predetermined, I feel like. I think I've seen the bracket where they're supposed to go play the Texans next week, right? The same team that beat them up just a couple weeks ago. So I feel like for them, you know, I think they're on borrowed time. I think the Chargers know that they're on borrowed time, and they're just ready to go 1-2-3 Cancun.
No, I don't think that. I don't think they're ready. I think the fact that Harbaugh is resting his frontline guys, and we're gonna catch up with Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers to kind of get a feel for who exactly is going to play and who exactly isn't going to play for the Chargers. Right. And we'll talk to Pete here in about 10 minutes or so. But I think the fact that Harbaugh has said, look, there's not a lot of incentive for us in this game today. That doesn't mean we don't want to win. That doesn't mean we're going to go lay an egg and lay down and just give it to the Broncos, but we're not going to play our normal guys, or at least a good portion of them. That to me speaks to we're gearing up for the playoffs, whether it be going to Jacksonville, whether it be going somewhere else, New England perhaps. We are going to make a run in that game and start that second season, if you will, with the wild card round.
See, I got a hot walkie take right now. I could see a world where Denver decides to rest some guys after halftime of this game.
Well, if it's a blowout, I think if the Broncos are up 27-0 at halftime, I could see, and then it stays that way through the third quarter into the fourth. In other words, a large margin on the scoreboard. Yeah, I could see Jarrett Stidham getting a series or two in the fourth quarter. I could see Sean Payton saying, all right, let's get some of the key guys out and really start to now focus in on the rest of the journey,
yes,
the postseason. But Sean, he's not going to do that too early. He has to make sure this is a dub, period.
Because if you're already locked into the number 1 seed, like I don't see where you know this becomes. I've been listening to it all week on the Fan. Shout outs to the weekday shows, and all those gentlemen that are talking about the Denver Broncos and the glory that's upon us here. But I'm starting to wonder, is this a matter of you can't not win by style points? Like you have to thump these dudes. You can't just beat them 27-20.
Why not? I mean, let me just play devil's advocate. Up front, I want to see style points. I want to see a 3-touchdown win today, whatever it is. I want to see a relatively easy game like they had against Kansas City in the regular season finale last year when the Chiefs came in here and didn't play any guy of significance.
Yeah, you got to thump them.
Right, and that's exactly what the Broncos did. But at the same time, that also hasn't been what the Broncos have done this year. So to me, you just got to get the dub. Secondary to that, I want to see them look good while they do that. I think we all do.
Okay.
But you're saying if they don't look impressive and don't have a significant win on the scoreboard in the points department, it's a two-part question. What does that do for your thoughts about this team moving forward? And what do we think it does internally from the standpoint of the players, the coaches, etc., moving forward? Because it's two distinct questions.
So I think if you start sitting guys resting on your laurels, today's an incentive day, right? It's the last day of the year to maybe get your incentives off. I don't think the Broncos are they don't have notable incentives that are on the horizon, right? But I'm pretty sure there are a couple of guys that have contracts on the team that today's game is very meaningful for them. Otherwise, you end up with Max Crosby type situations where a guy's completely healthy, but he's not allowed to play. So I get to wondering if the Broncos don't look as impressive in this win today, does that then lower the confidence in the locker room, but then also give confidence to the teams that may have to come here to play in the playoffs?
I think both of those questions are fair. And I would just call upon what we've seen out of the Broncos this year and what we've heard from them. when they have been able to author miraculous or near miraculous comebacks, or at least dramatic wins in the final seconds or a big final drive or overtime or what have you, they have readily acknowledged the need to play better. And they have also readily acknowledged, and I think appropriately, that, hey, we found a way to win. And that characteristic is one that I think will serve them very well in the playoffs. It's served them well all season long. It's become part of their identity. Didn't happen against Jacksonville. They got outplayed in the second half after they tied it early in the third quarter, and Jacksonville ran off the 17 straight points. So I'll just tease it without the number. I'm going to predict, by Broncos standards, a sizable win today, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's a closer game, because that's just been who the Broncos are. I also know that they know exactly what's at stake, and I think we're going to see a focused and efficient performance by the Broncos today. I really do.
If the Chargers don't lay down, are you going to be upset?
I don't think they will lay down, by the way.
With the single-digit win.
No, I'm not going to be upset. Okay. Will I be like, well, I wanted it to be more impressive? Of course. You always want your team to look good and play well and be as impressive as possible. But the bottom line is I want the Broncos to clinch the number 1 seed. That's what they have to get done today. And if it's 24-23 and that's what it takes for them to do that, I will take the number 1 seed, and we'll have the conversation then about, well, what do we think about their chances in the playoffs in 2 weeks? By the way, on the RamosLaw.com text line from the 4736, yes, our texter reminds us that Adam Troutman has an incentive today, earns $125,000 with 5 catches, and Cortland Sutton is like right around 100 yards away from a career high in receiving yards. I don't think there's an incentive attached to that. There's always a few guys that have some money on the line, and if there's the opportunity, Sean will try and get those guys to that incentive. We saw it last year, and I think we'll see it this year. We're going to dive into the Chargers, get you the latest on what their plan would be and what their mindset is next on Denver Gameday.
Peyton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At CommonSpirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at CommonSpirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. CommonSpirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Hey guys, believe it or not, golf season is just around the corner, and that means the newest gear and the latest tech are starting to drop. It's Stoke here from my friends at Embers Golf. If you want to hit the ground running in 2026, now's the time to get dialed in. Book a custom fitting at Embers Golf and experience the newest equipment built to elevate your game. I know, trust me, I got set up last year, and spots fill up fast. So get in, get fit, and get ready to play your best season yet. Get everyone in the family ready for golf season at Embers Golf in Westminster. Embers Golf, ignite your game.
Hi, Dan Cicchini with Dunright. Great pricing options and bank financing? You bet. Kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Done right since 1985. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right. Visit drhi.com. Thanks.
Her face lights up whenever you're around.
That's why the diamond you give her can't be like any other.
At Williams Jewelers, exceptional brilliance is in our DNA. I'm Bruce Williams.
And I'm Steve Williams. We grew up in the diamond business.
And as direct diamond importers, we personally hand select every diamond.
Going through hundreds at a time, looking for what really matters. Life.
Like people, no two diamonds are the same.
Some just sit there. And then there are those rare gems that explode with fire and brilliance.
A diamond that shines like no other.
And surprisingly, it's rarely about price. No one sells a more beautiful diamond for less. That's the Williams Diamond Guarantee.
So if you found the woman who loves like no other,
give her the diamond that shines like no other from Williams Jewelers.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche. Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines.
Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Gameday, powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Hours away from kickoff at Empower Field at Mile High. Mike Rice, Sean Boyd on Denver Game Day. Glad you are with us on this Sunday morning. We've got you covered until noon, and then at that point, it will be John Davis and Chad Andrus downtown at Mile High Station to take you right up until kickoff. Always good to get friend of the program back on with us. Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers joins us now as the Broncos and Chargers lock horns today. Pete, we always appreciate the time. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, it'll be no Justin Herbert. It'll be Trey Lance leading the ship for the Chargers today. First, give us a sense of how many of the starters, if any, will play today for L.A.
Yeah, it's a lengthy list that continues to grow. It's like I've been watching the NFL Network this morning. It's like, okay, wow, the Chiron is rolling by on the bottom. It's just like name after name after name. Yeah, so it's going to look like a preseason game. But most notably on the offensive line, Jamari Sawyer's not going to play, which cost them quite a bit last week against Houston. He was out in that game as well. And the reason I mentioned his name was, he's a guy that has come in to this offensive line and kind of been a stopgap when they were just going through it for the last, period of time where their offensive line has been very up and down. And most of their problems this season when it comes to Justin Herbert having to scramble for his life is because their offensive line is just all over the place after, the main injuries to Joe Alt and, of course, at the start of the season as well. So Rashawn Slater being out. The fact is that the line has just been a huge problem for them. And Jamari Sawyer is a guy who came in and kind of leveled things out for them and made it a little bit more stable on that offensive line. So I'm hoping that it's nothing major. It doesn't appear to be. They say he's doubtful, but I'm assuming that it's a hamstring. You know how that goes. You never know when it's 100% healthy. You just kind of got to go out and hope for the best. So having him as healthy as can be for the playoff game will be crucial. And then Kamani Vidal, the second running back, is also questionable. I think that they will probably try to get him some reps today because Omarion Hampton is going to be out. And then you got Deshaun Phillips is out, Nico Reed is out, Benjamin St. Juste, R.J. Mickens, Bradley Bozeman on the offensive line, Hassan Haskins, another running back. So they just have a lot of guys that are not going to play. And then other guys that are like healthy scratches as well, like, as you mentioned with the quarterback. So there is, just a lot of openings today for the Chargers as to what we're going to see and how it's going to turn out. And I don't know that they really care too much about winning this game, especially based on the fact that it means a lot to Denver being the number one seed. So I think the Chargers are just going to go out there without guys like Khalil Mack, and you can just go on and on. Tui Apoloto is going to be out as well. So there's just a lot of guys that are probably going to be not on the field, and many of them in street clothes.
So, Pete Fox, this is Sean Boyd here. I'm going to ask you a question. Jim Harbaugh usually preaches momentum above all else. Is there any worry that sitting the majority of the starters today could lead to a rust factor when they travel for the wild card game next weekend?
It's funny. We brought that up on our show as well, and the answer I got was momentum from what? Getting kicked in the head by Houston? So, the fact is that there was nothing good in that game to look at and go, hey, let's build on that. So the majority of that game was ugly. It was, look, they did level it out in the third quarter and play some good defense and shut down the Texans, who started strong and then, kind of leveled out and fell apart really in the second half because they scored a grand total of 2 field goals in the third and fourth quarter. So, if it weren't for those 2 bombs early in that game against the Texans, it's a different game for the Chargers. And then you look at the fact that Dicker, the kicker, missed a field goal and an extra point, which was basically a chip shot. A dropped touchdown pass to Aronde Gadsden hurt them. So there was just a lot of stuff in that game. And again, Justin Herbert scrambling for his life. There was a lot of stuff in that game that you just turned the page on, and you don't want to build on that. You don't need to create momentum off of it. As a matter of fact, you're hoping that all just fades off into the distance. You get healthy this week, and you come into the playoff game kind of with a new sense of purpose. You know, the playoffs is a different world. We all know that. They all talk about it. You know, it's the regular season, and then you turn the page, you go to the playoffs. It's to get into the tournament and hope for the best. And, you know, the former players that I've talked to, they're all like, when you go to the playoffs, the attitude, the energy, the purpose, desire is completely different. So that's the momentum builder for the Chargers right there, the playoffs.
Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers with us on Denver Game Day. Broncos and Chargers today at Empower Field at Mile High to close out the regular season. It's interesting, Pete, when you say, look, the Chargers are treating this like a preseason game and then list all the guys who are going to be out. It almost sounds like less than a preseason game, but I think there is, because there's so much on the line with that number one seed for the Broncos and for those in Broncos country, the fan base, there's a degree of trepidation. But it sounds like you're saying, look, all things being equal today, if the Broncos show up and play remotely like they can, this shouldn't be much of a game. Am I putting words in your mouth, or is that what you're saying?
Well, that's the way it should be, yes. But again, as I've been watching the NFL Network today, Broncos have some issues to deal with as well. The turnover margin is not good.
Yep.
The receiving situation is not good. They want to run the ball better than they've been running the ball. So they have things to work on without a doubt. You know, would it be the craziest thing if the Chargers figure out a way with the B squad in there to win this game? No, we've seen that happen before, not just in football. It happens all the time in other sports. Basketball, you'll see times where they'll, you know, healthy scratch guys, rest guys, and then the bench guys come in with something to prove, a chip on their shoulder, and they play well, and they figure out a way to win this game, right? So it wouldn't be the craziest thing, but the fact that the Chargers basically have nothing to play for and the Broncos have something very important to play for, right? It's like polar opposite ends of the spectrum. You would be really, really upset and surprised that the Broncos, as Bronco fans, don't win this game, right? You'd have to just be like, what the hell was that?
Pete, with the secondary so thin for the Chargers and Nico Reed on IR and plus Elijah Molden hamstring, I don't think he made the travel with the team today. With the secondary being so depleted, what specific instructions has Jesse Minter given to the younger DBs like Tarheeb Still to keep Bo Nix from having a stat padding day before the playoffs?
You know, I think it's just kind of, you know, you go out there and do what you do, you be you, because those guys have been good all season long, especially in games where the Chargers have shut down opponents and played well and won games, like which they did during this little run coming into the Texans game. You know, they had some big wins through there. You know, the Cowboys, not really good on defense, right? Cowboys have a good offense, not a good defense. So the Chargers winning that game 34-17 comfortably. It's not a huge win, but they played very well in that game. Beating the Chiefs was a big win because that meant something to the Chiefs at the time. They beat the Eagles, and they beat the Raiders comfortably. That all coming on the heels of losing to the Jags, which was an embarrassing performance for them heading into the bye. So they kind of woke up after the bye and started playing well. So when you look at what the Chargers have done on defense in those games where they played well against teams like the Chiefs and the Eagles, those guys on the outside and the safeties and the linebackers, that defense is just fantastic. I mean, it is their calling card. It is the backbone of this team, and if the Chargers are going to do anything in this postseason, it's because of that defense. You can look at the defensive roster and the stats and just go down, and you'll just see one guy after the next that always seems to have an impact. Deion Henley, Derwin James is a stud. He plays like a beast day in and day out. Deshaun Phillips has been fantastic. Old man Tony Jefferson has been fantastic. So Tier Tart gets after the quarterback in a big way. There's just so many guys on that team. Now, do they all have good games every week? No, but the fact is that kind of collectively as a unit, consistently they're out there and playing fantastic defensive football.
Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers with us for a few more minutes here on Denver Game Day. Pete, as you look at the potential the playoff field. Obviously, the Chargers are in. It's very likely that they'll be either at the Patriots or Jaguars in the wild card round next weekend. But is there a better matchup for L.A. given your druthers or given their druthers?
Well, of those two, we spent a lot of time breaking it down. For me, I would much rather have the Patriots, but I got pushback from some of the guys I work with thinking that it's tough to beat. The Jags, as I said, kicked them in the head 5-6 weeks ago. 35-6 was that game. They absolutely were just absent in that game, sound asleep. It was an embarrassment. So, the report or the opinion is that it's tough to beat a team twice in one season, right? And then you go back to 2 years ago when they blew a 27-point lead against the Jags. So there are reasons that, hey, bring on the Jags. We're motivated to go to Florida and win that game. I like the Patriots from the standpoint that they're a young team. Yes, Drake May is in the conversation for MVP, but he's a young quarterback with no playoff experience. And then you look at all of the off-the-field issues that they're having with some of their star players, right? I think that's a distraction. There's no way it can't be, right? It has to be causing them some issues in the locker room. So you look at that team. And another big thing that we talked about was the New England Patriots pass rush is not what the Jags pass rush is. And when you look at the problem the Chargers are having on the offensive line, it's just a better matchup for them to face a team with lesser of a pass rush. Doesn't mean they're garbage, but they're not as tough as the Jags pass rush. So give me a team that doesn't have as tough a pass rush, a young quarterback, just a young organization as far as who they are as a team. They haven't been through, the heat of the playoff run before. This would be their first time doing that. So, and look, they've had a very, very easy schedule this year across the board. They haven't played a bunch of tough teams. Strength of schedule, the weakest in the league this year for the Patriots. So I would take the Patriots, but, you can find reasons for either the Patriots or the Jags that the Chargers could come in with positive whiteboard material.
Pete, so with Trey Lance getting the start today, given that this is his first full start underneath Greg Roman's system, how much of the standard playbook do you expect them to use versus a more specialized run-heavy package designed specifically for Lance's mobility?
Well, you're assuming that we can estimate what the standard playbook is on a week-to-week basis, which we can't, because we what happened there? What was that all about? You look at a game, you try to forecast what the game plan should be and what the playbook should look like. And Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh are both run-heavy guys, right? In theory, that's if I were to ask you, what do you expect from them? You would say, yeah, these are run-heavy guys. But there have been plenty of times where we're like, they should be running the crap out of the ball, and they're not. And Justin Herbert scrambling for his life or just, throwing it 35 times. And we're like, what was that all about? So, you hope for, as a fan, you hope for a balanced attack where Justin Herbert is getting rid of the ball quickly and not having to scramble for his life. Now, I know he's not playing today, but you would hope for that kind of game plan for Trey Lance as well. Now, obviously, he's capable of scrambling just like Justin Herbert is. He's capable of throwing. Well, he had a very good preseason. People were impressed with him. Maybe they could, I even brought it up, and I got shot down so fast, but I was like, could there be a package where we might see Trey Lance every now and then? No, you don't take Justin Herbert off the field unless you have to, right? So, I feel like it's going to be a run-heavy day today, right? Burn the clock. Omarion Hampton is out. If Vidal is in there, okay, we're probably going to see a lot of Jared Patterson. So I feel like he's going to throw the ball, I would say probably under 10 times. So that's what I'm expecting today.
Yeah, really interesting if that's the way it unfolds. Pete, great stuff. We appreciate the time. Thank you. Enjoy the game.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take care. Good luck.
All right, that's Pete Fox, Locked On Chargers. Really interesting. Throwing the ball under 10 times. We'll discuss that and a couple of other nuggets that Pete dropped next on Denver Gameday.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way. With a dedication to lasting quality. Trusted performance and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Most resolutions fade by February, but a better metabolism, that sticks. And that's what SodaWeightLoss.com does for you. Soda retrains your body to burn fat efficiently. No drugs, no injections, no gimmicks, just real food, real coaches, and real results. Lose 60 pounds, that's what I did in just a couple of months. Naturally with Soda Weight Loss. That's SOTAWeightLoss.com. SOTAWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is, say it with me, state of the art.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The Fed dropped rates for the 4th time. And if you're a homeowner, you should call American Financing today. You could be saving real money every month. High interest debt is crushing budgets across the country, but homeowners who act now are using their equity to wipe it out. American Financing customers are saving an average of $800 a month, with some getting rates in the low fives. A massive difference compared to credit cards charging 20% or more. Speak with a salary-based mortgage consultant and find out exactly what you qualify for. There are never any upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Move quickly, and you could even delay 2 mortgage payments, putting cash in your pocket immediately, giving you back some of that money you spent during the holidays. Call American Financing today. The sooner you act, the quicker you can save. 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR for rates in the 5s start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000. Use code PLAN to get up to $1,000.
Getting you set for today's game. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan presents Denver Gameday. Powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ruben on a Sunday morning, Mike Rice, Sean Boyd on Denver Gameday. Here until noon, and then John Davis, Chad Andrus at Mile High Station downtown. So if you're going to the game, stop in, see John and Chad, say hello, and they will be there right up until kickoff. Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers with us last segment. Couple of things he said that really caught my attention, Sean. One is in discussing who would be and really wouldn't be playing for the Chargers. Most, if not all, the frontline players will sit for the Chargers today, which is obviously good news for the Broncos, even though they can't take anything for granted. But when Pete and Pete follows his team day in and day out, he is locked in. When he says they are treating this like a preseason game, that I didn't really expect it to be that level. And
that's kind of nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Again, can the Broncos afford to not play well? No, they cannot afford that. They have to play well. They want to play well. All of that. And if they do play well, I think they will win, or should win rather comfortably. But this is going to be a Chargers team that is number one, just wanting to get out of here healthy, I think, being the top priority.
And I think the Broncos want to get out of this game just as healthy, right?
For sure.
This is not a game where you want to see anybody on the offensive line get nicked up at all. So that's what led to my theory earlier, Mike, when I started talking about alluding to them maybe sitting some guys after halftime. You know what I mean?
If the score would lend itself to that, the Broncos won't do that if the game's even remotely in doubt. They can't afford to. They have to find a way to win this game.
Okay.
Because they have to get the number one seed. But if they're up by 3 touchdowns with 8 minutes to go, and the way the game has unfolded indicates that they have dominated, I think we could see Jarrett Stidham in for a couple of series, or to mop things up, so to speak. Or we could see Vance Joseph and Sean Payton pull guys.
Call the dogs off.
Call the dogs off a little bit just for the sake of health. Once they know the hay is in the barn and the Chargers aren't going to, really have no shot to mount a comeback. If it's a close game in the fourth quarter, Broncos are going to try. They've got to try to win the football game. Another thing that Pete said, and if you want to weigh in on your thoughts on how this will unfold, do so on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. That last comment, expecting a run-heavy attack, did not surprise me. But then when he said Trey Lance may throw the ball under 10 times, that to me would be a little bit surprising if it were that kind of discrepancy for the offense.
That's an
and the
underwhelming
game plan. Yeah.
That's an underwhelming game plan, Mike. As I'm sitting here listening to that, 10 plays? 10
passes?
No.
That's like Tebow's game plan.
You might as well lay it down. Like, just go out there, hey, Broncos, look, and if I'm not mistaken, did Pete say that, they know that they understand that the Broncos are in race for the number one seed, and they're okay with them getting the number one seed?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's truly how the players are thinking about it. On the one hand, you have to be realistic. When you're not playing your top guys, and that's pretty much across the board,
yes,
you are outmanned, period, the end. You cannot fool players into believing anything else. At the same time, that's not to assume that just because the Chargers are outmanned, it means they won't play hard. I think the Chargers will play hard today, especially at the beginning of the game, especially at the beginning when, there's still some hope. The Broncos have to go establish what they want to get done and set the tone and put some distance between themselves and the Chargers. But if the Chargers actually pass the ball 10 times or fewer, man, I didn't expect them. I didn't expect Lance to air it out 25 times, but under 10 or 10 or fewer, that would be something that I'm not sure I would have on my bingo card. From the 7987 on the RamosLaw.com text line, Ed asks, do you think Harbaugh will use backups to play smash mouth football to soften up the Broncos? Well, I do think Harbaugh will use backups because that's the indication that he's given, and Pete confirmed that a moment ago. And I do think they're going to keep the clock running by using the ground game. So
yeah, you want to get out of this one is unscathed as possible.
Yeah, whether or not that is going to soften the Broncos up, I don't know. I mean, it's been a pretty good defense by and large. Yeah, some performances they want to tighten up since the bye week, to be sure. But I think we're going to see the Chargers run the ball and keep running the ball and then run the ball some more on top of that. Again, if Pete and he unofficially put this out, he really didn't. But if the over-under on pass attempts is 10 for Trey Lance, 10.5, say, I would take the over. I still think they're going to pass the ball at least 11 times.
I like the over on that because maybe that was we say we go behind enemy lines when we do these segments. Do you think that he was trying to rock us to sleep there?
No, I don't think Pete was. I don't think Pete has any motivation to do that. I don't.
Make us think that, he's only going to pass it 10 times, and next thing you know, Trey Lance comes out and throws it 20.
Well, I mean, you never know. Broncos will have to be ready for that just in case. We are going to continue on Denver Game Day. What's the one thing that the Broncos have to do today? I've got my answer. Sean has his answer. What's yours? That's next.
Will the Broncos avenge their early season loss to the Chargers and roll into the postseason with a win? We'll break it all down in the Fan Football Postgame Show, presented by Modelo, live on Game Day from Mile High Station starting 2 hours before kickoff. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Peyton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At CommonSpirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at CommonSpirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. CommonSpirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you trying to lower your existing mortgage payment? Do you need cash from your equity? For most people, getting a mortgage means endless paperwork and weeks of anxiety. But with Cake Mortgage, our process is simple, fast, and hassle-free. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or looking to tap your home's equity, our team guides you step by step so you always know what's next. Our thousands of 5-star customer reviews will tell you no one can do what Cake can. So stop stressing and start saving fast with Cake. Your fresh-baked Cake home mortgage is ready to enjoy. So don't wait. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com. To learn more now.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Pros don't just show up, they prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Colorado roads are icy. Accidents happen. When they do, you're in luck with Flanagan Law. I'm Samantha, the personal injury lawyer who stands out from the rest of the guys. Look for the Shamrock. Flanagan Law, your advocate when it matters most.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Getting you set for today's game. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Gameday. Powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Mike Rice, Sean Boyd, hour number 2. Denver Gameday on 104.3 The Fan. Glad you are with us. Man, just a little taste of the stakes rising another notch today as the Broncos and Chargers close out the regular season. Wow, it has been a heck of a journey for Broncos country. This team has surprised me for sure. It's been a great group to follow. So many amazing moments, and yet it's just whetting the appetite because this is where Broncos country has wanted their team to be, back at the top of the heap in the AFC, back challenging for the Super Bowl. And there's a long road to go in the playoffs as that journey begins with Wild Card weekend next weekend. The Broncos hope they won't be a part of that. And then the divisional round in a couple of weekends. The Broncos are going to play a Chargers team that, as Pete Fox told us, Pete from Lockdown Chargers last hour, is really treating this like a preseason game. If you missed that interview with Pete, it was, I think, a little bit revealing. I didn't think the Chargers were going to come in and play many guys, but it really sounds like they are going to be undermanned in a major way by choice. And I get that. I completely understand from their perspective. They're getting ready for a wild card game next weekend. Whether it's at the Patriots, at the Jaguars, maybe something else happens and it's a different team. Who knows? The winner of the Ravens-Steelers matchup as the 4-5. The Broncos, if the Broncos play well today, Sean, they will win this game. And they may win it going away. I can only hope they will. But as we think about the most important thing that the Broncos have to do today, I've got mine ready, and we want to sound people out on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. I know a team always has to score points. I understand that. We all understand it. But scoring touchdowns in the red zone is key because it's going to do a couple of things. We know that the Chargers are going to try and run the ball a lot today. At least I figure they will. And that is going to make every opportunity so important when the Broncos get down close. If you go back to the game on Christmas night against the Chiefs, the Broncos dominated the stat sheet. Absolutely dominated the stat sheet. It really was not very close in any statistical category of note. And yet, because the Broncos had to settle for a couple of field goals, it was a one-possession game for pretty much the whole game. I mean, it was 13-13 with 8:03 to go in the fourth. Now, if the Broncos, who had 4 lengthy scoring drives, the 2 field goal drives against the Chiefs were 14 plays, 56 yards in 8:02. Then the next one that culminated in the short field goal by Lutz with 19 seconds left in the second quarter was 16 plays, 79 yards, and 804. If those two are touchdown drives, the Broncos don't have 6 points. They have 14, and they're ahead by a touchdown at halftime. My point, Sean, is the Broncos, I think, are going to have opportunities in the red zone today. Score the touchdown, build the lead, get off the field by virtue of making it a game out of reach in the back half of the fourth quarter.
I think my important piece, Mike, goes hand in hand with what your factor, your key factors to the game are, and I think mine's kind of in line with that as well. Protecting the football is going to be the number one key component for the Denver Broncos, as Coach Payton has been vocal about the team's struggles with ball security. And then so Denver enters today's game ranked 25th in the turnover margin, right? And so over the last 2 weeks, they've been bested by the other team in the turnover battle. And so with a backup team that's looking to play spoiler a little bit, a fluke fumble or an interception is the easiest way to let an underdog in the game. And so if we talked about style points, and I understand that majority of Broncos country does not care about how the game is won, just as long as the bag is secured with the win. So I'm looking at ball security as the number one factor for how the Broncos can win today's game in style, in fashion. I mean, in good fashion.
Yeah, I think that's, turnovers we know are always key. And I think especially today, too, when you look at turnover margin, this is a Broncos team that has underachieved in that department at -5. That's not where you want to be, but that's where they are. The Chargers, on the other hand, again, it's a little bit apples to oranges because we're not talking about a Chargers team that will be composed of the guys that it normally is. But nonetheless, the Chargers are +4 in the turnover department this year. So I actually think, Sean, for as much trouble as the Broncos defense has had taking the ball away this year, when you look at the numbers, they've got 12 takeaways in 16 games. That's not where you want to be. That's too low in an ideal world. I actually think they're going to force at least one, if not two, turnovers today. I think the defense knows it has an opportunity, smells blood in the water against guys who haven't seen a lot of playing time by and large this year, and I think the D is going to get after it.
See, with the offensive line sitting majority of the starters, right, and Pete Fox alluding to they may cap Trey Lance at 10 passing attempts throughout the entire game. That limits the opportunities for those turnovers, right? You can get an interception a little bit easier than you can a fumble, but maybe the Denver Broncos are, they're playing strip games today. Like, get the ball out as quickly as possible. Another one, Mike, that I wanted to touch on. I'm gonna revert to the other side of the football here. Bo Nix needs 210 yards passing in order to hit 4,000 yards for today's game. I think it's imperative that Coach Payton doesn't get too hell-bent on trying to reach those personal accolades in order for Bo Nix to hit his 4,000 yards. But then again, like, do you think that there's some type of incentive out there for Bo Nix to get to 4,000 yards?
I don't know that there's going to be I don't think there's a financial incentive in the contract.
Maybe a little touch it after the fact. Hey, man, you threw for 4,000 yards. The Penner family group has been very, they've been very generous with these types of things.
Well, but even kind of a peg lower than that, I think Sean Payton wants to get Bo 4,000 yards. I think that's important to Sean. And yeah. I think if it were 310, I'd be kind of, rubbing my chin going, I wonder if that could come within the flow.
Yes.
But I do think Sean wants to and will have Bo throw the football today. That first off, that's Sean's DNA as a play caller.
Yes, sir.
And number two, I think in the back of his mind, maybe in the forefront of his mind, Sean Payton wants his young quarterback to crack that 4,000 mark. I think in his mind it's significant. I think it shows growth to Sean, and it actually does show some growth. Do I think if the Broncos are up 31-10 in the fourth quarter, that Bo is going to be slinging it around the yard? I don't think that. But 210 is not and should not be an astronomical number to reach against an outmanned Chargers team that's not playing top-line guys in the context of a Sean Payton offense where he wants to throw the ball anyway. And number 3, Bo Nix has been improving in that area in the back half of the season, much like he did last year. So I think very easily that Sean Payton could work the passing game into the normal flow and rhythm of the game, because that's what he does all the time anyway.
I mean, Bo Nix his over-under on passing yards per game this season is hovered right around 225. Some games 200 early on in the season, but as the season's progressed, he's been no lower than at least 213. Today he's at 210 is his over-under.
Oh, I take over on that.
So you love the over, right?
Yeah. Well, again, not handing out betting advice because I'm not a betting guy, but just from the standpoint of the number, I think Bo could easily hit 210 plus or 211 just within the flow of the game, because this is a game that the Broncos have to win. So Sean Payton's not going to dial things back. Do I think he's going to have the playbook wide open and he's going to show wrinkles and special formations? No, because I think Sean Payton believes, and the staff believes, and the players believe, if they just go execute their normal game plan,
First 15.
Right, against a Chargers team that is choosing to be undermanned because they're not playing for anything of note. Yeah, I think the Broncos feel like they can take care of business within that context. And you know what? They should all be dead right if they're thinking that way. And if they don't take care of business and they can't win the game under those contexts, in that context, I should say, then perhaps this Broncos team isn't quite as ready as I think it is to head into the postseason and make some noise.
Well, I mean, here's another thing, right? You know that Bo Nix needs to work within the offense, stay on time with his throws, go through his progressions, and stay on rhythm. If he's able to do those things, I think it's sky's the limits for the Broncos today. He'll hit the 210, but I think he'll eclipse that and maybe even touch around 250 yards just by chunk plays. You know, you've got guys like Cortland Sutton that's in the lineup, but he doesn't have a big prop market today, and that makes me think that he might get pulled from this game a lot sooner than we anticipate. So maybe it is a Denver Broncos blowout, but in order for the Broncos to get to that blowout, I think Bo Nix has to be successful managing the offense from start to finish.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and we're going to get to our X factors in just a little bit, guys that we think just need to step up for the Broncos today. Again, it's just an interesting setup because as Pete told us earlier, you have a Chargers team that is treating this more like a preseason game. Get in, play hard, get out, get to next week's matchup in the wild card round, versus a Broncos team that I think is treating this like a playoff game, knowing how important this number 1 seed is. And that brings us to the opportunity issue, Sean. And I more and more, as this season has gotten closer to the postseason and closer to where the Broncos want to be in competing for a Super Bowl championship, we know that as Sean Payton started this rebuild, and it was a rebuild in culture that he has already finished. That culture has been established now. The foundation of it is in place right now, and that's a big reason why I think the Broncos have been able to pull out so many of these close games. But then also the play on the field, the 1-loss record, that has now turned around. This opportunity for the Broncos is one that they cannot take for granted. And I don't think they are. because I think Sean Payton knows how difficult it is to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And when you have the chance that they have now, taking advantage of that opportunity is imperative. We don't know what next season's going to bring. We don't know what it's going to bring in terms of the schedule. We don't know what it's going to bring in terms of health. We don't know any of that. But what we do know is that the Broncos are 13-3. And, Sean, they have the opportunity today to do what every team sets out to do in training camp, which is to put themselves in the best possible position to make a Super Bowl run, and that's getting the number 1 seed in the conference. The Broncos can do that today against a Chargers team that isn't going to be playing its top guys. They have to go out and find a way to get this done.
Yeah, I mean, and not only do they have to find a way to get it done, from me, okay, this is just Sean talking here, folks. So, and let's remove all biases aside when I say this, okay? Let's remove all bias from this conversation. I'd like to see the Denver Broncos put their foots on the necks of the Chargers and then just break their will, right? If the will of the Broncos is to just punish the Chargers, you get the confidence and the rhythm that you need going into a bye week. You get rested, and then now your outlook is win 2 games and you're in the Super Bowl. And those games that you have to win, oh, by the way, they're at home. So the playoff picture gets a lot more clear for the orange and blue, and I think that, the cup is half full, and I don't really see a path of resistance at this point. Like I said it earlier in the season, I thought the Colts or the Patriots may have been the 2 teams that could come to Denver and steal a win in the playoffs. Now that we sit here in Week 18, I don't know if there is a team in the AFC that has what it takes to come to Denver and play at elevation.
I think there are teams that absolutely believe
maybe Jacksonville.
They can do that. Well, Jacksonville's done it, and I think they would be more than confident that they could come do it again. I also so I believe there are teams that would love the opportunity and believe they could get that job done.
Really?
Of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the Patriots would feel like, you know what? Yeah, we respect the Broncos playing on their home field, but we believe we're good enough to go there and win. The Texans would feel that way. I mean, I think any team would feel like.
I forgot about the Texans. I am worried about those guys.
But this is an opportunity for the Broncos to take advantage of. And as we look at the scoreboard of the early games, again, all of these games are within 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes of starting. And so they're all middle of the first quarter or earlier. Titans 7, Jaguars nothing. That one's in Jacksonville. Do I think Jacksonville's going to lose that game? I don't. But
they are who we thought they were.
But they're down early. The Colts lead at the Texans 7-3 with Riley Leonard playing quarterback. Alec Pierce has a 66-yard touchdown catch. Again, do I think the Colts are going to have enough to beat the Texans there? I don't. But the games that you air quotes should win, leaving out of the conversation should win by a larger margin, just be careful. The Broncos, if they play well today, Sean, they should beat the Chargers and potentially thump them.
Yeah, a week 18 where there's so much uncertainty as to who's going to play, who's not going to play for all the respective teams around the NFL. We only have a couple of meaningful games that actually have a lot on the line today. So I see a bevy of trap games out there. The Titans versus the Jaguars is nothing short of a trap game, and I think the Broncos versus the Chargers kind of fits that criteria as well. And so it's a very thin line that the Broncos are treading on today. They have to win this game, and they have to look good winning it. I don't care what Broncos country says. If you don't win this game in convincing fashion, doubt begins to creep into everyone's mind.
The Patriots will have a late game. So the Patriots and Broncos will both kick off at 2:25 Mountain Time. Patriots are hosting the Dolphins. Dolphins are 7-9. In Foxborough, I don't see the Patriots losing. Again, we're going to have to wait and see. But there aren't too many non-Miami, even Miami fans might feel like, yeah, we don't have much of a shot. The fact of the matter is, Patriots will have to handle their business. I believe the Broncos will handle their business, and that to me I define by getting a win. I do think they will beat the Chargers today, and I hope it's by a bigger margin because I just would like to see it. I would like to see this offense run efficiently. I would like to see this offense put points on the board. I would like to see this offense continue to progress because everything's going to get tougher in 2 weeks if the Broncos just find a way to win. I would also like to see this defense kind of put its foot down again, especially against an offense that has a backup quarterback going and backups pretty much everywhere. We had someone on the RamosLaw.com text line, I think Joe, point out the fact that Keenan Allen has an incentive of 6 catches. And, yeah, I think that certainly is something to watch.
Let's dissect that for a second, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's dissect that for a second. So Keenan Allen needs 6 catches in order to hit his incentive and get to the chili. However, we
get to the chili.
Pete Fox is saying that they're looking at maybe he projects that they're only going to pass the ball 10 times. How does Keenan Allen get his 6 catches if they only throw the ball 10 times?
Well, I mean, very easily. I mean, you just throw him the ball.
Surtain's not going for that.
Well, maybe not. But do I think it's a given? No, I don't think it's a given. But if you're Keenan Allen, you're going, Coach, if we're just going to waste time running the ball and treat this like a preseason game, at least can I get my extra check for that?
See, I'm on the other side of that. I'm thinking maybe do I sit today out? If I'm Keenan Allen, do I just take the day off? Why not? If we're not gonna throw the ball, I'm not gonna get to my catches.
He might take the day off.
Like, I might as well just pack it up for the day, get a soda, and enjoy the show.
I think this text on the RamosLaw.com text line does summarize a good portion of Broncos country.
Okay.
It should be BTA, belt to. For the sake of the kids listening, belt to behind.
That part.
Yeah, belt to behind from opening kickoff. Send a message to the league. Michael puts that out there to us on the RamosLaw.com
Big
text
Hatch.
line.
That's Big Hatch. He used to play tight end for me or with me back in the day.
There you go.
So, and he delivers the mail too. That's
Big Hatch. Yeah, Big Hatch. Love it. And I think Broncos country wants to see that. I think Broncos country feels like that's not a too high of a bar to hit, given that this Chargers team is sitting so many guys and treating it like a preseason game. And I kind of subscribe to that. Normally, I'm just all about the bottom line. Get the win, find a way, learn your lessons while winning, and move on. And yet today, given that there's some context and some layers to this game that normally don't exist during the course of the regular season, and the Broncos still have so much to play for, that number 1 seed, guys, I keep saying it. This is big. I want to see an impressive win. There's a part of me that isn't sure because that hasn't been what the Broncos have been able to do by and large this year. But I sure hope today is an outlier in that respect.
Before we get out of this segment here, Mike, let me ask you.
Yes.
In a non-perfect world, on accident, the Broncos happen to drop today's game. On accident.
My gosh. Let me just stop you for 2 seconds. I have a hard time going there, but for the sake of the conversation, I will go there. Okay. So I'm envisioning myself about 7 hours from now, whatever it is, and the Broncos, oh my gosh, I can't even say it, came out on the wrong end of the score. Okay, your question is what?
What do you feel will need to change?
Oh my gosh.
Going into, because now you're on the road, right? You go from 1 to 5 or 1 to.
Well, no, I mean they're going to win the division, so they'll be a top 3 seed.
Okay,
so they're going to get a home game in the wild card round, but if the Patriots win and the Broncos don't get the number 1 seed.
Yes. How do you think that? What do you think the Broncos will need to change in a week's time to get ready for the next week?
Yeah, I don't. You know what, Sean? I would have to reserve comment until I saw how this game unfolded.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I would say this, that if the Broncos can't find a way to win today, and health is stable, you know where I'm going with that, and so I won't go there.
Yeah,
but
we'll leave it at that.
if health is stable and not a factor in the game, my level of concern would raise. Absolutely, it would have to. It would absolutely have to, because it would speak to a Broncos team that didn't play particularly well. I think they will play particularly well, and there are a couple of guys that need to play well. Our X Factors are next on Denver Gameday.
Follow us on X at DEN Sports 1043 for up-to-the-minute information and opinions on all things Denver sports. Also, we can still call it Twitter, right? Denver Sports 1043 The Fan, denversports.com, and the Denver Sports app.
Remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life? The one with Jimmy Stewart, who plays the part of a hometown banker named George Bailey. This is Glenn Jameron. I'm president of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. George Bailey cared about others, about doing the right thing. When times got tough, George Bailey stood by his customers in every way he could. Alpine Bank believes in those same values. We believe that caring about you in good times and in tough times, caring will enable your family, your business, your community, and our nation as a whole to prosper in ways we've never seen before. Alpine Bank believes, we know, that all our futures depend on one thing: caring about one another. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
HelloFresh helps you cook fresh, delicious, wholesome meals every weeknight for a healthier you in each bite. This is more than just dinner. It's feel-good made from scratch. HelloFresh, nothing hits like home cooking. Try now at HelloFresh.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000. Use code PLAN to get up to $1,000.
Are you a dementia caregiver? Perhaps you care for your spouse, family member, or friend. Whoever it is, being a dementia caregiver can build relationships and test them. I'm Bill, and I want to thank you for the care you have provided. I've faced similar situations, so I'm speaking on behalf of the Dementia Society of America, a nonprofit organization. Request our free guide filled with tips on care, planning, and much more. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
Getting you set for today's game. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Gameday. Powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Mike Rice, Sean Boyd on Denver Gameday. 30 minutes left with us, and then John Davis, Chad Andrus will be live at Mile High Station downtown as the Broncos host the Chargers in the regular season finale. So much on the line for the Broncos with the number 1 seed right there for the taking, and the Chargers, well, looking forward to next week's wild card playoff game. Quick update on the Texans and the Jaguars. Jacksonville has tied the Titans, 3:50 to go in the first quarter. It is now 7-7. Parker Washington with a 23-yard touchdown catch. So the Titans took the early lead, but the Jags have responded. Houston gets a little bit closer on a Kaimi Fairbairn 48-yard field goal. His second field goal also hit a 51-yarder. Indy still leads at Houston 7-6. They're ticking down to the 5-minute mark of the first quarter in that game. So we'll keep you posted, and I know John and Chad will as well. And the Dolphins and the Patriots, again, will be a late kickoff, 2:25 Mountain Time, 4:25 Eastern in Foxborough. Broncos and Chargers today, with Denver having a golden opportunity to secure that number 1 seed. If you want to weigh in with your X factors, one on offense, one on defense, RamosLaw.com text line is where you can do that, 303-713-1043. Normally in our X factors, Sean, we like to look to guys who aren't naturally in the spotlight. Maybe not necessarily a star player, a significant player, yes, but a guy that because of some matchup possibilities or a guy that might be due, air quotes, try and highlight some of those guys. My offensive X factor is so obvious, but it's so important in my mind, and that's Bo Nix.
Okay.
Bo Nix has to just be Bo Nix and play with efficiency, throw the ball accurately, be on point, execute, do the things that you need Bo Nix to do. That's what I want to see. I want to see them win. That's the bottom line. Nothing's changed in my mentality there, except I'm adding a little sub point of I want to see them be impressive offensively, and it starts with Bo. And Bo, to me, is the X factor there because obviously the ball's in his hands. He's the guy who's the central figure of the offense, and I want to see him have a game.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm a little unorthodox with my X factors for today.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 rookies on the offense who I'm calling on. I'm dialing their number today.
All right, let's hear it.
R.J. Harvey. If he can break his career high of 75 rushing yards early in this game, it will force the Chargers safeties into the box, and that's going to open up the deep play action game for Cortland Sutton. And then my second X factor on offense is Pat Bryant. How he needs to look in his return to action, back to the lineup. I think if you get your rookies involved early and you get them confident, that will then build for your playoff roster. You know, obviously you have your regular season roster, and those 2 dudes are going to make the playoff roster. So I think that getting them in rhythm along with Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, and Cortland Sutton in a limited role today is a good thing for the Broncos offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see Sean come out and do what he normally likes to do, and that's have Bo throw the football. And that's why I say I think the opportunity is going to be there. Again, we mentioned the 4,000-yard mark. He will hit that with 210 passing yards. I think he will hit that. I actually think the Broncos are going to look good. They should look good. Let's just be honest about it. They should look good offensively, and they should look good in this game. Again, do I think opportunities will be more limited because the Chargers will try to possess the ball, much like Kansas City did on Christmas night? Yeah, of course. I don't think Trey Lance is going to come out and sling it around 25, 30 times. No, I don't think that at all.
Yeah, he's only got 13 passes on the season.
Right. And I think it's, as Pete Fox told us from Locked On Chargers, Pete wouldn't say that he was saying anything profound. You figure the Chargers are going to run the ball more, and keep running the ball and try and control tempo and be successful in terms of moving the ball and scoring points that way. I think it's time for Bo to have a game again. And I'm expecting that today. If he doesn't, because of limited opportunities, because the Broncos just don't look as efficient as I'd like, is the sky falling? Is the season ending? Are there hopes for the playoffs dashed? None of that. But this is the kind of game I want to see them take advantage of this opportunity. So Sean's got RJ and Pat Bryant as his offensive X factors, and I'm just saying Bo because I want him to have a day, and we could both be right because Bo could help RJ and Pat.
It goes hand in hand.
Be the guys, absolutely.
Hand in hand.
Defensively, Sean, who you got for your X factor? The guy that just you want to see step up and has that chance to do it today.
See, Mike, I told you that I was going unorthodox today. The Mile High Crowd versus Trey Lance.
Whoa.
Is my X factor. He's making a very he's making a start versus it's a rare start for him versus a difficult defense in a loud environment. And so the crowd-induced pre-snap penalties, false starts, delayed games are the easiest way to kill the rhythm of this backup quarterback. And so the Bronco Maniacs, I'm calling on all you guys out there that call yourselves Bronco fans. If you get loud in the stadium, that's going to throw off anything and everything the Chargers got planned for the day. And it's going to be an early day.
I got to tell you, that's a good one. And Sean Payton has sort of been educating the crowd about not just being loud when Trey Lance today, the Chargers offense is at the line of scrimmage, but be loud as they're in the huddle.
Yeah.
And make it more difficult for Trey Lance to communicate with his guys, because that is going to be a factor. The communication piece for Lance, you mentioned his inexperience, not so much in terms of length of time in the NFL, but just snaps in the NFL.
Second and third down is going to feel like a 4th and 14 for him.
Yeah, well, I'm sticking with my theme of the obvious for my defensive X factor. Look, in big games, your best players have to rise to the top. And much like I haven't picked Bo Nix as an X factor all year, but this is the game. Go have a game, Bo. Go bury the Chargers. Take advantage of the opportunities. Be efficient. Make big plays. Same thing for Nick Bonitto. I understand that Trey Lance isn't going to be dropping back a lot, most likely, so the opportunities for sacks might not be there, and we know it's been much talked about. Bonitto with 4.5 sacks in the last 10 games, so the drop-off has been there. Sean Payton has downplayed it, but the sack drop-off has been there team-wide for the Broncos over the last couple of months. But I just want the Broncos, one of their best defensive players, to be that guy. And whether it's a pressure when Lance does drop back, maybe he gets a sack or two, maybe he bats a pass down, maybe he's able to chase Lance down on the run outside the pocket. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like because it's hard to imagine the Chargers doing anything more than sort of in a vanilla fashion running the football. But I picked Bonitto because he's one of the guys that is counted on to be the man for the D. And, Sean, I want him to be the man. I want him to stand out today. I want him to flash. If he doesn't, again, it's not the end of the world. It's not that I think Nick Bonitto can't play. It's not that I think, well, he won't do it in the playoffs. I won't think any of that. I just want him to do it today when the number 1 seed is on the line and they've got a chance to, as you said, put their boot in the backside of the Chargers.
Yeah, they got to put their foot on their necks if they. And you see, when you started to talk about the prop of Bo Nix having as the X factor, him having a really big game. I started to get the feel if this game is remotely, let's say it's not a 13 or a 20-point blowout in the first half, I can see Bo Nix absolutely throwing for 300 yards today. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and I don't think Sean is going to go into this game thinking, well, I want to run the ball more than I normally do. I think Sean wants to throw it today, and I think he's going to throw it today. Do I think he's going to show, a lot, as I said earlier, show wrinkles and trick plays? I think he believes they can win without those kind of things. So will he try and save those? I would guess. But, for me to sit here and see the Broncos running the ball 35 to 40 times, if that happens, it's because they're literally averaging 7 or 8 yards a carry and they can't help themselves. But I would expect Bo to throw the football today.
Yeah,
I would expect an open offensive attack.
I even like R.J. Harvey to get 75 yards rushing today. I do. I think this is one of those games where the Broncos have a big performance, yards all over the place. And again, you have to have this type of game versus backups. You have to. They have some starters sprinkled into the lineup, and I hear all that. But for the majority, this is a Denver Broncos that's getting the B team. They're not getting the starters. They're getting the B team today. And when you play JV, you got to smack them around.
Couple of thoughts from the RamosLaw.com text line. Ron in Windsor. I want a W with no injuries the rest of the season. The D back on track with consistent pressure would be nice. Double A Ron from Windsor.
I'm not mad at that, Ron.
I will take that as well. Butch chimes in, it's not about style points. It's about looking more like New England against the Jets last game and less like we looked against Kansas City's practice squad in an ugly win. Bo Nix needs to be in a baseball cap in the fourth quarter of this game today. I would take that too, Bo, or Butch. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. We're going to check in with the guys at Mile High Station, get some of their thoughts. John and Chad are next on Denver Gameday.
Will the Broncos end their stellar regular season with a divisional win before the playoffs? We'll react to it all in the Fan Football Postgame Show, live on Game Day starting at the 2-minute warning. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today. and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, feeling cooped up this winter? Mark Schlereth here. You know these Colorado nights can get freezing cold with your furnace running non-stop just to keep things cozy. But here's the thing. While your heating system is working overtime, it's also blowing dust, dirt, and debris through your air ducts and straight into the air you breathe. That's where Ductworks comes in. Your trusted air duct cleaning experts. Using a powerful combination of scraping and vacuuming technology, the Ductworks team clears out years of buildup, grime, and other gunk hiding in your ductwork. The results? Cleaner, fresher air, better energy efficiency, and a healthier home or office for you and your family. Don't wait until spring. Breathe easier now with top-rated service from Ductworks. Call them at 303-425-0985 or visit them online today at ductworks.com for a free residential or commercial estimate.
303-425-0985.
Getting you set for today's game. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Gameday, powered by CommonSpirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Mike and Sean on Denver Gameday. Glad you've been with us. They are ready, and they are hanging out at Mile High Station. We're talking, of course, about John Davis and Chad Andrus. Guys, great to have you. What a day again downtown. It's beautiful.
It's unbelievable, Mike. I see people that are still watering their grass in their yards and everything's green, but there are like bees and wasps out. Trees are blooming. Flowers are blooming. People have allergies. Apparently, we live in California now.
Yeah, apparently so. Hey, speaking of the weather, our guy Andrew Mason, our Broncos senior writer with DenverSports.com, tweets that today, with the forecast to be in the mid-60s, every Broncos home game this regular season will have been played with a kickoff temp of 60 or higher. That's never happened, and Mace says the previous high for the coldest home game of the season was 49 degrees in 1971. John, did you I hope you packed, like, you won't need the layers that you packed.
I'm 42. I've been coming since I was in first grade. That was 1991. Mike, my family's had season tickets. This is the first time I have gone an entire season without bringing a jacket or a coat to the game. It's been a hoodie at the most, and I've only actually put that on for one game. That was Jacksonville. Well, the Raiders. The Raiders game was windy at night, so that game was cold, and I had the hoodie on, but no, I've been warm at every game. It's that's why everybody's like, oh, you can't get a dome in Denver. It's like, apparently it doesn't matter because the snowy weather conditions aren't going to be a factor anymore.
Yeah, apparently not. John and Chad, of course, hanging out at Mile High Station. They will have the fan football pregame show starting at noon and going right up until kickoff, so stop in and say hello to the guys. I want to take a minute before I get your thoughts on the matchup today and all, and just take a second to give you guys a chance to appreciate what the Broncos have done. John, I know you remember every game from every season with your photographic memory, but it's remarkable the position they're in this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I didn't have them doing this. I don't think a lot of people did. And now that they've done it, you got people like Alex Smith on ESPN saying they're the least dominant one seed of all time, as if the Kerry Collins Titans never existed. But they've gotten there by, it's not fluky. Winning by one score is not fluky. They've dominated from the interior. They've gotten teams to play at their pace. I did not envision this. But to your point, Mike, considering where they were 3 years ago, considering where they were the previous decade before Sean Payton. It's been an incredible turnaround, and it's really been done without anything overall too dramatic. No big swings. You just kind of put a nice roster together. You got them to play together.
Chad, you've covered sports in this town for a long, long time. Your thoughts about the Broncos being where they are heading into this final regular season game?
Yeah, I think it's kind of two different lenses that you have to look at it, right? You look at what was the expectation prior to the season and where they are now. For me, it's already exceeding what I expected them to do. So by that regard, it's a success. But when the circumstances change, the expectations change. And now, given the opportunity that they have, I have ridiculous expectations. I expect them to play in the Super Bowl the way things have played out at this point. And when I look back, and you talk about how long I've been around here, when I look at the 2 seasons the Nuggets had to deal with Jamal Murray's injuries and 2 more with Michael Malone and Calvin Booth fighting, and the Avalanche with 3 seasons without Gabe Landeskog, and all the opportunities that were missed in championship windows, like, it is of utmost importance the Broncos take advantage of this opportunity, because I look at other teams like the Lions, or how long we've waited on the Packers, or the 49ers who blew a golden opportunity last night, or on and on and on for the last 2-3 decades of football with, the Buffalo Bills. How long have we been waiting for them to do it? Like, you cannot waste your opportunities. So as much as the Broncos have exceeded my expectations and had a wildly successful season, now the expectations change because they have to take advantage of this.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you, and there's no guarantee that they'll be back next year. There's no guarantee of anything, and they've got the chance right before them. John, Pete Fox of Locked On Chargers told us earlier that L.A. is really treating this like a preseason game. Given that, winning is important, but how important is it for the Broncos to make a statement, to look really good while they win today?
Not important. You get the win, you get the 1 seed, you do it how you do it. I think the Broncos are taking it seriously. Look, games are weird. Seattle dominated San Francisco last night and only put up 13 points. How the game ultimately shakes out, there's a lot of just real weird things that can happen in an NFL game that doesn't necessarily dictate who was better and how the outcome went. Look, if they play a slow, boring game and win 17-10, but nobody gets hurt and they can go into the playoffs, I'll be really happy with that. To your point, how it looks, one thing I will say is I'd like to see the defense, 3 and out a little bit more today, maybe get turnovers. So there's some stuff there that I'd really like to see. But ultimately, they've been really banged up. Get through this win, get home field, get your week off. Get to the playoffs. I'm not going to get wrapped up in style. I'm not going to take a team that has all these 1-score wins and want them to suddenly be the 2013 offense with the 2015 defense.
I do.
They are who they are. If it's a close game but they get the win, that's ultimately what I care about.
Yeah, I totally get that. But Chad, I'm listening to John going, I think John is totally right. But at the same time, there's a part of me that just wants the Broncos to put the hammer down and look really, really impressive in this one. Isn't there? Is that for you?
I think that's the nature of all fans. Everybody wants their team to be Secretariat and just destroy the field in just an unquestionable way and be the ultimate favorite and look unstoppable all the time. The reality is that's not sports, and that's particularly not this team. They haven't been that team all season, and I don't know why anybody would expect them to be that team. Now, we all want it. It would be great if everything was a rocking chair game and everybody was in baseball caps in the fourth quarter. That's just not the reality of the way sports works. It's especially not the reality of this team. Their strength is figuring out how to win each game each week in its own individual puzzle. And they've excelled at that in a way that I think a lot of people didn't think they could do, or certainly did not expect them to do. But they did 11 straight times this year. So if they can just continue to solve each puzzle each week, that should be enough for you as a fan. We can't sit here with all the things that have gone on the last decade in this town and say, okay, well, yeah, they're winning now, but we don't like how they're winning. Like, you cannot be that particular, and you cannot complain about style points when you're finally back to the place that you've been asking to get for a decade.
Yeah, well put. I do agree, but I still want them to look good today. Guys, I look forward to the Fan Football pregame show. Thanks for a few minutes. Enjoy it.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
All right, John Davis, Chad Andrus live at Mile High Station. They will take you from 12 until kickoff downtown. So, again, if you're headed down to check out the game or if you're just in the area, pop in, say hello to the guys. Sean, we close with our prediction for the game. Who do you like? What do you think the score will be today between the Broncos and Chargers?
Broncos. Who do you love? I like the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix, again, to throw for 300 yards in impressive fashion. I think I'm going to go with the Broncos 24, Chargers 16.
24, so a one-possession game.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that the 14.5 is getting pounded, and I like the Broncos to win by 2 touchdowns. Something just tells me it's only maybe a single digit win, 9-point, 8-point win.
You've got 24-16. I'll take Broncos 27-10. Wouldn't surprise me at all if it's a close one, but I'm hoping today's the day against an outmanned Chargers team that they get it done. Sean, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Big dog blessings.
There it is. He's Sean Boyd. I'm Mike Rice. Stay with us, though, on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. We've got John and Chad with the Fan Football pregame show from Mile High Station coming your way next.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance.